okay?
Are you okay?
No, I'm like literally unwell.
I'm not crazy, I'm just a little unwell. I know that I'm tired.
We're filming this really early. Like,
is this the earliest we've ever done?
This is definitely the earliest we've ever done. I also poked my eye out, so please ignore that.
Can I ask how you poked your eye out? Because you didn't say.
Oh, I literally was just driving and I saw that I had like a little like eye crusty, like a little boogie. So I went in and I like scraped it, but when I scraped it, I like hit my nail and then like part of my jacket, so it just like it made it red. So yeah.
Now my eyes are watering. I had to make sure that you didn't come in crying because it wouldn't have been the first time. So I had to confirm that you were not like, crying.
Are you okay? I'm like, yeah, why? Like, I just like poked my eye out. He's like, you're not crying? I was like, no, I'm not.
You're not crying out of just one of your eyes. That's talent.
Not this time. Maybe next time. We'll try again next week.
Sweet baby rays.
So I have an announcement.
Which it would have been, yeah, that's going to be, what is that, ginger lemon? What was that?
It is ginger lemon and water.
Gross. All right.
Delicious.
Dun, dun, dun. I wish I had like some, wait, hold on.
All right.
I'll use my hot take one for my other.
That's not it.
Themed though. It's the hot take.
The hot take. I have an announcement to make. Way back when. In January 2023.
In the year of our Lord, 2023.
I got a phone call. And the phone call was from a certain TV streaming service telling me that I made it into the final round and AKA I'm on the show. And the show name is Squid Game The Challenge.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
I just need sound effects for it.
I left in January of 2023 for Squid Game The Challenge. And the day that I got the phone call was the day of Nick and I's anniversary. And we were out in Gillette Stadium and we were at dinner and I got the phone call. And as soon as I got the phone call, I called Joe and we're at a club like this. We went to Scorpion Bar and I'm having the phone like this. And I was like, I made it. And it was him and Brendan. Brendan is the husband of our mutual friend, like Margaret. Anyways.
Brendan was with me?
No, I called both of you at the same time. I did a little.
That's right. Yeah. You did.
And I was like, I made it, guys. And they were both super happy and super excited for me. And we went out, like the week of me leaving. Like I found out and then I had to leave in 2 weeks. So like a week later we went out and we went to Los Andes. It was me, Joseph.
I got the Los Andes chicken.
Yep. It was me, Joseph, and Nick. And then we met up with Brendan and we went to the Peep Ruins and the boys bonded. And then we went to Trinity Beer.
Yes.
Trinity Beer House. And then we hung out there for a little bit where there was a little shit talking going on just about people in general. Do you remember that?
I do. I do.
And then we decided Nicholas has never had an Onlyville wiener. So we decided to go to Onlyville. And I got 2. Joseph had 2. Did we have 3 or 2?
I think I did.
2.
I think I did 2. Yeah.
So we both had 2. I finished. He like barely finished. And then Brendan had like 10.
Like let me tell you something.
Nick had like 3.
No, Nick.
Or 4?
I think Nick had 5.
Did he really?
I think so. He ordered 5.
All I remember is Brendan's just because like I was like, that's insane. Because the guy, he asked for a certain amount and the guy was
10.
like, the guy was like, no.
He said,
like,
do 5 and then I'll get you another 5. And he did 5. He did the second 5 faster than he did the first 5.
He did the 5. And as he's finishing it, the guy's like watching him. And I went up to him and I was like, another 5.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay.
That's one thing with the wieners, not to get off topic, but that is like, I could maybe do 3. I'm like, I can't eat a lot in one sitting.
Yeah. And especially wieners, like those are they're greasy.
They're heavy.
They're fatty. They're heavy. You kind of smell like them after. Like,
you totally smell like it's like going to a game dinner.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
It is.
But yeah, I was on a Netflix show, and it was my Never Have I Ever, or like my 2 truths and a lie now is going to be like, I am on a Netflix TV show called Squid Games. I love eating cheese, and my 2 truths and a lie. What's my other
okay.
one?
All right. So those are 2 truths.
Well, I can't eat cheese.
But do you like eating cheese?
I do. I do.
So that's not like
and then my last one is
you need. So that's another
I've
truth.
gone skydiving.
Have you?
That's my lie.
That's your lie.
That's my lie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. So just I'm assuming that most people know what Squid Games is, but I
you
knew.
like do and don't at the same
Yeah.
time.
So like, can you talk about the show?
Yeah.
It was like a game show that came off of the actual show, but like,
Right.
what was the actual show?
So I'm gonna preface this with what we can say is so limited. Netflix has like strict calls on this. So essentially, I can't talk about what's on the show because by the time this comes out, the show would come out on. So this is coming out on the 22nd. However, this episode will be airing the
27th, I believe. Yeah.
So by then, you guys will see already that I'm on it.
Mm-hmm.
But still, we actually can't even talk about the show. And our like what happens in the show, and even post that we've ever hung out with people from the show until the finale, which is 2 weeks after the 22nd. So whatever that is, because they're doing 5 episodes the 22nd.
Yep.
Then 4, then 1. So whatever that 2 weeks after, December something, maybe 2nd.
Let me just verify. The 22nd, December 6th.
6th.
Right. So they're doing Wednesday, right? 22nd,
I believe
29th,
so.
and then the 6th.
Yeah. So we can't really talk about anything until the 6th, but I can talk about that I was on the show because.
Okay, but what was the show? What was like the original show this came out of the original show? What was the original show?
So the original show was a Korean show. This actually took, if I remember correctly, this took like 13 years to make. It wasn't like an overnight thing. A lot of it was created by green screen, so it was really cool. They had talked about this in so some of the actors and the producer came on to our set and were really shocked and surprised that Netflix created this as like an in-person thing because a lot of it was like CGI and green screen for them. So he was actually really like shocked and like amazed and like just like dumbfounded by it. So the original show was, the premise of it is that there's people who are in debt, owe money, need money, etc. And it's what would you do in order to, how far would you go in order to get money?
Yeah.
So in the show, a lot of these people, they go on this show they go on to this like game because they're in debt and they have people like chasing them for money and like threatening them, their families. Mind you, this is all not in English. So everyone had to watch it either in subtitles or dubbed. I watched it dubbed. And I think I watched it dubbed. Yeah, I did watch it dubbed. Which I actually had started that like a day before. One of my friends had told me to start it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I can get into it because it's like I can't do dubbed.
Yeah.
Something about like the lips not matching up with the word. Like it just it throws me off.
Yeah.
He's like, trust me, you need to try it. And I was like, okay. I watched it and I was like instantly hooked. And so yeah, they go on this game where they compete to try to win money. The risk though is in the games is that you die. You lose your life. So you get killed until there's one left. There's 456 people to start. There's one left that wins all of the money, but you die if you
So it's either
win.
you win or you die.
Yeah.
But all right, so time out.
So obviously I didn't die. Netflix was like, we can't do that.
Yeah, we can't do that. So in the show, what is the entity that is bringing all these people? Like, is it a government thing where they're like, we'll give you guys a chance, or is it some like fucking rich billionaire?
So in the beginning, you're thinking that it's kind of like this like side thing to like the government, almost like it's like you can't really tell, but you can tell that there's like higher up, like people who are wealthy is what you can presume.
Sure.
And what like the main character, how he gets onto the show is a guy knows that he's struggling. They like almost watch them from afar at first before they like know that's the person that they want to like bring onto the game essentially. And it's this game where there's like a little envelope. And what you do is you smack the envelope like on the ground to another envelope that's on the ground, and you try to make the envelope flip over. So there's like a method to it that makes it like flip over. This is like a well-known game, I guess. And
I play that all the time.
On the reg.
Yeah. I usually invite people over to play envelopes.
You finished that so fast.
I know. That was like my breakfast.
I'm glad I could provide. So essentially, he keeps losing, he keeps losing, he keeps losing. And the thing is, if he wins, then he'll get money. So he keeps losing, and then he wins. And when he loses, he gets like smacked in the face by this guy, like hard, like hits him hard. And then all of a sudden he wins. And then he like goes into smack, and the guy's like, no, here's your money. So it's like they already knew the lengths that he would go to in order to get this money.
Yeah.
Now going on to like the actual game, they don't know that they're obviously going to lose their life until the first one dies. And then all of a sudden everyone freaks out. And the game that they learn this is the ever so famous red light, green light. So it's the first game. There's this like giant doll that like turns around, and as it turns around, in the US version, it goes red light and then it goes green light because that's the one that we know. However, in the Korean version, there's a song, and I can't say the lyrics because I don't know the lyrics, but I know the like the sound to it. It's like da 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 da.
Oh, and then when it stops, you
stop. Right. So it's a little bit easier than red light, green light, because when you do red light, green light, you never know when they're going to say red light, versus the song, you know the song ends. Like if you know the song, you know when to stop.
So it's not like musical chairs where they just cut it randomly.
Right, exactly. So so in that game, the very first time that it turns around and it scans people to see if anyone has moved, all of a sudden all these people die. And like people are freaking out, then people are running, and then all of a sudden it just kills all of them.
Yeah.
So in the game show, it took out like the vast majority of the players. So I'm curious, because I can't talk about it, to know. Obviously, in the trailer of my show, they show that they played red light, green light. So I'm excited for viewers to see how many people did get eliminated from that game.
So in the show also, they start the same way?
They start... Yeah, essentially, yeah, because
they start with that game in the actual show. They start with that game too.
Yeah, well, in the actual show, I don't think I could talk about that. That was the first one, just so you know.
What do you mean?
How you said like that the game was the first game in my show, and you were like, oh, Squid Game's like. Yeah,
is it not?
It is, but I can't talk. I can't say that that's going to be the first game that I played. Is the
okay? So.
And I'm going to go like this.
Cut at 12.
Okay.
I'll make a note.
Joseph just asked me a question that I don't think I could answer, so we have to cut it out. But yeah, so the show eliminated just like a ton of people. And then they come back in, and there's a little like note. There's like, the small little disclaimers of like medications, and it's like may cause drowsiness, sleepiness, whatever. And then like in small print, it's like, and you could possibly die. I have to sneeze. It was kind of like that in the way that in the show, like the actual show, if the vast majority chose to leave the game, then everyone could leave the game. You don't have to continue to play.
Okay.
So in the show, they all decided to leave at one point, and then people really wanted the money still. So a lot of them ended up coming right back. Like they wanted to go back into the show, even though they knew that they could potentially die like over this. So there's a big message in regards to like the actual show is like, why, like in what world does like greed and wealth and like, why does that triumph? Like life, period. Like just life. But to your original question of like who runs the games and whatever, you see, are you ever going to watch the actual show or probably not? Okay, so like spoiler alert.
I'm going to watch yours.
My show? Okay.
But I'm not going to watch, I just, at this point, If I didn't do it up until like I had all these months to do it,
I know.
I didn't do it.
I could have sworn you told me when I was gone. You're like, okay, I'm gonna watch the show while you're gone.
I did, and then I lied.
And then you lied.
So this is my one lie.
So, spoiler alert, but if you haven't already watched the show, I don't think you're gonna watch the show, because this came out like 3 years ago. But the end, you see that it's all these like really wealthy people. And then the very, very end, the guy who like ultimately runs the games, period, is this old man that was in the game. And he was player number 1. That the main character was like helping him and like almost like befriended him until he pulled a fast one on him and made him get like eliminated and like died, essentially. This episode is sponsored by our friends over at Be a Nice Human.
We don't agree on much on this podcast, but one thing we do agree on is our love for the Be a Nice Human brand.
Their streetwear includes hoodies, beanies, t-shirts, socks, and more to choose from with the simple phrase, Be a Nice Human.
Head over to beanicehuman.me and use the promo code HATETHAT. That's H, the number 8, THAT for 10% off your order.
And remember, you can still be a badass and be a nice human. But he was the main one who like ended up running all of the games, which is like a whole full circle.
Okay.
Because he was a player, so like he made friends with him, and when he got eliminated, even though it was like the main character's fault that he got eliminated, and I'll tell you how, but he later on saw that like this guy who was his friend, but he ultimately like killed, is the guy that was running the entire game. So
Okay.
yeah, it's a very interesting like twist at the end of it.
Okay.
The games that are on the show are Red Light, Green Light, and I'm talking about the main, like the show, like the Squid Game show. Red Light, Green Light, which I already told you about. Then there's Dalgona, which is a cookie. And in the cookie, there's different shapes. So there's a circle, a triangle, a star, and then the umbrella. The umbrella is the hardest. And the umbrella is the hardest because of the stem. Obviously, it's like really, really thin versus a circle. You kind of like carve around it and you should be able to pop it out.
Yeah.
Star, a little harder because each point, but it's still thicker than like the stem of an umbrella.
Yeah.
The main character got umbrella. So everyone knows from the show, umbrella is the hardest one to get. And the main character, he obviously like beats it, but he's like one of a few that beat it. And it's this cookie that's in a tin that's essentially just like sugar and like water almost. So it's almost like a thin wafer cookie and like baking soda, I think. And you use a needle to carve it out. But the main character learns by licking it. He can kind of put it up in the sun and he can see like where the fault points are, like where it's the thinnest. Yeah. And he just keeps on licking it and eventually the shape pops out. So that was the second game. The third game, I really hope I remember all these because it's been a while since I watched like the real show, was marbles. So everyone starts off with the same amount of marbles. So you ultimately don't know that you're playing against your friend. A lot, like it was like a trick kind of thing that you play against your friend and then your friend ends up being the one eliminated essentially.
Yeah.
And you have to take all of their marbles. And whoever has all of the marbles wins. So some people play like fair games of like, you know, like throwing it, or like there's like different marble games where you can like trick them and you like, I take one and then you take two, like whatever. There's different games. In the show, this one guy who's like the villainous character, he is like about to lose, and I can't remember what it was, but he like tricks this guy who's like the sweetest one that you feel so bad when he dies, but he tricks him into like going to look for another marble or something, and he ends up stealing all of them, and he returns to the like staff person who counts it, and obviously he has all of them. And then he looks over and he's like distraught because this was like his friend, and then they end up killing the guy, which was really sad. And then what else happens in the show? Marbles. I can only think of the last game for whatever reason, because they do this like massive dinner towards the end where there's only like 2 or 3 people left, and it's to like treat them before the very last game. And the last game is where there's 2 people and there's like a shape on the floor, and it's essentially you have to push someone like out of bounds. And in the show, one ends up like killing the other essentially and one wins. But in the show as well, people can get eliminated. Oh, I remember the one in between that. But in the show, people can kill people like at night. So like you have the opportunity to kill people at night and like eliminate people that way. So that was another thing that the show did. And the last game, I think this was the last game. It was the second to last game. Is they call it Glass Bridge. So it's a bridge made of glass, obviously. And as you jump, some of them are made out of like tempered glass, and then like some of them, so like they would like just fall, and then you would die essentially. And in the show, people they couldn't tell the difference between like the real glass and the fake glass, like the glass that could hold their weight versus the glass that couldn't hold their weight. But then in the show, this guy ends up like looking down below, and he's like, "Oh, I can tell the difference between the glass based on like how the light reflects." And so some of them get across and obviously like win and get to the finale type deal. But
Gotcha.
So I can't talk about what games were played in my show, but the cool thing is the fact that like all of these, the premise of it is that they're supposed to be childhood games. Like these are all games that you played as a kid. Red light, green light. I don't know if you ever played the push. Did you never do that as a kid?
Red light, green light?
No, the one where like you essentially like two people are in like a box almost, and like you try to push the other person out of bounds. We did that in gym class.
I mean,
like it wasn't like an aggressive thing. I can't remember how we did it because like we didn't like fight the other person obviously in school.
I don't know because
but you shove them to try to get them like out of bounds. I think we did it in karate or maybe gym class.
Yeah, I don't know because West Warwick also used to make up games. Like we played basketball with a football and called it flicker ball.
Flicker ball?
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
West Warwick.
West Warwick's on another level. That's West Warwick in a nutshell, to be honest.
It really is. You know what I was just thinking as you were explaining, because I haven't seen the show. I know it's like, I guess I know you can win money and it's like a survival type thing, but I don't know anything about the fucking premise or anything like that. But hearing you describe it,
yeah,
and your love for Saw, this was like the perfect fucking show for you to be on.
I know. It was, honestly, I had seen the casting online and I was trying to get my friend to do it with me. And long story short, he just like wasn't doing it. And I went to Hawaii in September of last year. And when I came back, I was like, if it's still there, like I need to apply. Like it's a sign. Like I just have to do it. And I came back. And it was there. And so I filmed my audition, which is on my YouTube channel, actually, outside of Nick's house. And I filmed it like 4 times because I kept messing up.
And just stop me if we can't talk about that. But
yeah.
Right before, I mean, were you like, I vaguely remember you were teetering on not doing it. And then it was like the last day or something. Yeah. And we talked about it.
Yeah. Because I was like scared and I was a little nervous and whatever else and like whatever doubt, like whatever other excuses that you can give. And I looked it up online to see what the deadline was. And Netflix had posted something about like the deadline is approaching or like they're calling the deadline like now, essentially. It was, I can't remember the verbiage, but it was like, deadline ending either like end of this week or like we're pulling our last few applicants. So I was like, okay, if I do this, I'm at the tail end, which either is a benefit too.
Yeah, right.
Or
it's a recency bias.
Right. Or it's a risk because at this point they already pulled their favorites. So maybe they have like really slim pickings at this point. And yeah, I mean, I applied. I remember sending you the video. The video was like, it looked a little like dull. So I
you were like outside in front of a car or something, right?
I put it like right on the hood of my car. And I filmed it. And I remember I wore like a black bodysuit because I was like, I knew from like modeling and acting, you always want to wear like a black bodysuit because it's just like.
Yeah, I always go. In a pinch, I always go with my black bodysuit. So
I wore black and then I think I wore jeans and I filmed it outside. And yeah, it was like fall-ish outside, obviously, because at this point it was like October.
Yeah.
And I mean, you could see the leaves, like they're all like pretty different colors on the back of my video. And then I had to color correct it because you were like, you should try to see if you can like correct some of the colors. I was like, which one do you like better? And you're like, that one. And then I posted it and I submitted it and it was done, which is crazy because people are seeing online, there's like different things, but there was something, I think there was something posted that there was like over 100,000 applicants. And then there was another thing that put out that said there was over 300,000 applicants. So to think that I was even like 1 in 100,000 or 1 in 300,000, never mind 1 in 456, like that's crazy. To be 1 in 456 is still like better odds of me winning that. Than winning the lottery in my entire life. So it was just a complete like honor and just super cool to be on the show.
And last year started with us doing like the first video that we did was for the modeling thing that you had tried
for Sports Illustrated.
Yeah, a number of times, and
so many times
it just wasn't working out. But it's like they kind of favor certain people, it seems like, anyway.
Yeah.
But like, and then we tried a different version of like
we tried something a little more like risque. Like we were on the beach. Like I was like, okay, maybe I need to go down this route.
Yeah, we did a complete opposite one because they were doing something else, and it was just like, I don't know, it was like TikTok vertical. Or something.
Yeah.
But that had, like, those two had failed, and then this came up, and it was like, I remember telling you at the time.
I was just gonna say you said like, something, so I was gonna say, let's see if you remember the verbiage of how you said it.
I said, because you in the thing sad. When we were like laughing hysterically about what the fuck was the word that you said? Important. When you were saying that, and you said in your speech thing, your voiceover, that you were really big into manifesting. And I said, maybe you're manifesting, because that didn't work out. And I was like, maybe you're manifesting something else, like a different opportunity, and you don't realize it. It's something like that.
No, that's 100% what you've said. And of course, at the time, I was like, yeah, like maybe, I guess. And of course, I was disappointed because at this point, I had applied for Sports Illustrated that was like my 5th or 6th time at that point. So I was just getting really like discouraged to not even get a call back, which like sucked. Like not even to know that I got to like the next round. Even if I got eliminated after that, it was just like to get one step closer. So I was really sad, and you had said that, and I was like, okay, yeah, maybe. And this was probably like what, April?
I think we did the second one in April.
Because the first one was in February.
And I think we did one in either March or April, yeah.
Because it was nicer outside. I remember it not being like too cold because I wore a bikini.
Yeah, because we went to the spot near your parents' house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I was like, okay, yeah. And little did I know that like I would apply and start hearing back towards the end of the year, and then get my like final call essentially at the beginning of this year.
Right.
And so the beginning of the year started with a bang, obviously. And then the end of the year, I said this from the beginning. I was like, 2023. And it's so weird because I never get that gut feeling of like, I think this is going to work. Like I never get, I always hear from other people. They're like, yeah, like I really feel it like inside. And I'm like, I never feel that feeling. I don't know why, but I don't have that like gut instinct. Yeah. For some reason for this, I kept getting that feeling. And it was scaring me because I was like, what do I do? Like, what do I do if I actually make it? Like, I'm going to leave. I don't know where I'm going. I'm going to a completely different area. This is my first time traveling like solo, potentially really far. Like, I don't know. Like, I knew that I would have to be, there was obviously like, they have to be careful of COVID. Like, I was like, there's so many, my colitis, like my stomach problems. I was like, how am I going to get my infusion? Like, I have to time it out. Like, I instantly was just like, oh my gosh, like I can't, this is a lot to wrap my head around. And then as I kept hearing back, I was like, I'm one step closer. And then, so this year started with a bang, and it ended with a bang of the show coming out, which is dope because I've been waiting forever for this and forever to even talk about it. 2, an engagement, which is really cool because I heard the callback on our anniversary, and now the engagement is at the end. Yep. And the year's not even over. I turned 30 in a couple of weeks after the show coming out. So like, who knows what else is in store for me? Right. Maybe I win the lottery. Who knows? Manifest. I'm really big into manifesting this year. So when that was literally the word that I said.
I know, and you said it with the same.
So when I get a call back from you guys,
but see, you got a call back, but something
different callback, something
different. So,
I mean, just as cool, if not cooler.
I think it's cooler.
Yeah, it's just so fitting for me. I think. So when I went, my friend Heather, shout out Heather.
Shout out Heather.
She gave me a good luck charm and then a crystal, because she's big into crystals, and then a crystal, like a manifestation crystal or like a protection crystal. And then she gave me a Funko Pop of Squid Games 456, like the player 456 who had won. I kept that with me up until I couldn't. Obviously, I couldn't bring anything with me like into the games. So I had that with me in like right before we started filming and before I had to give away all my stuff and like have them hold it in holding. And yeah, it was just like, it's full circle moment, man. And I still have that Funko Pop and it's in my room. But yeah, it's just it's on brand. It's fitting. I think I liked the show so much because it was like this like gory, gruesome aspect of like these like crazy deaths that you're like, how did like,
but that's why it's like Saw for
Yeah.
you. Like it really is like Saw.
And, you can see it in the trailer, so this isn't like a giveaway or whatever. But obviously, we didn't die. But we had these like packs. They're called like Squid. We call them Squid packs. So like you see it in the trailer when someone gets eliminated. This little like ink burst, because get it like Squid Game. This little ink burst like inked out, and it was like, pew, and then it would like turn your shirt all black.
Yeah.
I heard from different people. This is like not confirmed at all. I heard that they did it because of obviously like squids and squid ink. Excuse me. But I also heard that the reason why they did the black is because if they did red, it couldn't be rated like G for everyone, I guess. Like I said, this is total rumor. I don't know for sure. Because then it wouldn't be like kid friendly if it was red because it could scare kids. And at that point, then it's not rated G. I don't know.
It could be. It definitely could be.
I have no idea. So it's one of the two, or maybe neither of them. Not really positive.
It could be.
But it was really cool. It was really cool coming into it, and then it was really bizarre coming out of it. I had this like, I never felt imposter syndrome ever, but like I had that because when I came back, Nick and I had like newly moved into an apartment. Like we literally had just moved in.
Yeah.
So I was like, it felt weird and like it felt really sad, but I was like, I think I'd like rather be in the games. Like I wanted to be there again. Yeah. And I wish I could like bring him, but then go into the game. Like I didn't want to be in the apartment really. Like it just felt weird. It felt.
Well, especially because like for you too, like doing all that travel by yourself, you are one that if Nick is not around, you either go home for the night or you have people come over. Like you can't
be alone.
You're like a dog. You can't fucking be alone. So like even that, like that was a big step to just do all that shit by yourself.
Myself.
And not have to worry about that, because that was the other thing, is worrying about your parents and shit.
I was
like
so worried. My mom was more worried of me, clearly. I don't think I could talk too much about it, but my mom called Netflix because she was nervous.
She called.
My mom was like, Netflix. Is my daughter alive? And they're like, yes, she is. Do not worry.
Mom was about to fucking go to HQ.
There was a day where we gave up our phones, and I knew that, but I figured there was a phone in like the room that we were staying in before like production started the next day.
Yeah.
And I was like, Mom, don't worry. I'll use that phone to call you and say goodnight. I pick up that phone like after returning my phone to Netflix. So now I didn't have my phone. Mm-hmm. And I pick up the phone and I'm like, I can't fucking call her. I like hit all these numbers and there's like no dial tone. And I was like, what's going on? So I like called like the place that we were staying at, like the main people, the security people or whatever. And I was like, hey, I'm like trying to call my mom to like tell her goodnight and that I was okay. Like I told her that I would call her back after I returned my phone to just say goodnight to her. And I can't call her. And they're like, yeah, we're not allowing the phones. And I was like, okay, could someone please come to my room? And they were like, okay. So this guy comes to my room and he's like part of production. He's like, hey, how can I help you? And I explained the situation. I was like, could you just text my mom to let her know that I'm okay? And he's like, yeah, you want me to text your mom? I was like, she's going to be worried sick that I didn't call her from this damn phone that she's like, and then obviously I wouldn't be able to talk to her until the end of the game.
Right.
So I was like, can you please text her? And she's like, okay. He's like, okay. So he texts my mom. He's like, hi, Mrs. Akbas. I just want to let you know your daughter no longer has her phone, but she's doing okay. Yeah. And like, that was like that was what my mom needed to hear because otherwise she would have had a panic attack.
Yeah.
Because I was just so far from home. So
yeah. She called Netflix.
she did. This was like me being gone for like 2 days at this point. Is my daughter alive? Like, yes, ma'am. Your daughter's okay. She's doing okay. They were very like communicative, right? Communicate.
Sounds good.
They were very transparent with her about the whole process and that I was okay and that I was fine.
Yeah.
There was a lot of like news about the show in general.
Yeah.
So they were very transparent with her that I was A-okay and that her daughter was doing just fine. But would I do it again? Absolutely. Do I want to do it again? Yes. Would I love to apply again? Yes. Do I hope that they do an All-Stars? Yes.
This is like one of those self-interviews.
Yes.
You're like taking the questions out of my brain compartment.
Do you have any questions for me?
Well, yeah, I had a bunch, but like, all right, final takeaways of it. Because you would do it again.
I would do it again.
Would you do it?
Any differently than what I did?
Well, would you do that same show again?
I would do the same show again.
You would do a different show.
I would love to do a different show or the same show.
Mm-hmm.
I think that same show was like very fitting for me. It was different than me doing like going on like, I don't know, like Jeopardy and stuff like that. Like I'm not good at that kind of stuff, but like put me in something physical with a little bit of mental, like I can do that. So I would definitely do that again.
Would you change anything?
I don't think I would change anything. I don't think I would change how I like game played. I don't think, like my personality on there. I think we'll. I haven't seen it yet, so I really don't know what they're going to show or what they're going to portray. They kind of let me know like what's going to be in there, but I think that I was like pretty true to self. I mean, there was not a part of me like I didn't go in there being like I'm going to be an asshole. Like I'm going to be a villain. I'm going to be this or like, I just went in there like being confident and being like, I can win this. And I went into it like being like the little social butterfly that I am.
Yeah.
Like for pageants, I was voted Miss Congeniality, which you know what Miss Congeniality means, right?
It's a movie with Sandra Bullock.
Yes, it is. So essentially it's like voted on by the people to like whoever's like the nicest, the most sincere, like the friendliest, whatever. Like when I had told people in the games that I had been voted that after they were like, you're so nice. Like they were like, oh, now it makes sense. Cause this is just like literally exactly how you are. I don't think I would do my gameplay different. I don't think that I would change anything that production did to the show. Except for one thing, but I'll talk about that like later.
Yeah.
And
well, what's your like final takeaway from the like? I know you can't go into detail of certain things, but like your overall experience, because again, it was like you weren't going to apply to do it, and then you did apply, and you kept getting called. Like throughout the whole experience, like
just do it. I feel like Shia LaBeouf. Just do it. I wish we were like. We will not be doing this. I'm just saying it now. But like, if we were doing it, we could put that little GIF of like Shia like right in between us of him just being like, just do it.
Yeah.
That would be like my main like suggestion to people is to just because like there's a lot of things that I could have said / done and made excuses and not done it. And there was a part of me that like didn't want to believe you about like me manifesting something else this year because I used the word manifesting.
Yeah.
And I really was trying to manifest. And I had seen so many people do like vision boards in the beginning of the year. They do this and they put like pictures and like money and like things that like are tandem like that they can like literally have. And I hadn't done that, but it was something that I wanted to do last year. My friend was actually, Nalanda, was going to host like a little party for it. And like we didn't end up doing it, but I was like, I think like this year, like I just want to like give it my all, like give everything my all. Like I really want to like try this whole like acting thing. I want to try this whole like modeling thing. I work full time as a software developer. So like it couldn't be anything further from what I like the dream job type deal. And I was like, you know what? Like any casting that comes my way, I'm just going to apply. So I applied for like commercials that had come my way earlier last year. Like there was like a Wayfair commercial. There was like, there were so many things that I was applying for. And when this showed up and there was like the last calling for it, I could have stopped myself, and I'm just really happy that I didn't. And not to be like cliche or corny, it's just like truly go after anything that you want to go after. Like if there's a dream that you want, or if there's something you truly want to pursue, you just need to do it instead of finding an excuse. And I know it's easier said than done to like create an excuse as to why you can't do something. But when you put that like almost like that scare and like insecurity to the side, and you just like do something, you never know what could happen from it, which is really cool because something really cool happened.
See? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, Michael Scott.
100%. So I don't know what 2024 has in store for me, but we'll see what 2024 has in store.
We'll see. And hopefully once the show is, all the episodes are out, maybe we can do a further recap on it.
Yeah.
So this is like a high level, but watch on Netflix.
We'll go like more into detail about, because like I said, I really don't know what they're going to show.
Yeah.
I legally can't talk about it, but I really don't know. They gave me a brief overview of what is going to be shown. And I mean, they could go more into detail, less into detail. They could show things that like I just wouldn't even remember because I was there and living in the moment. And there's things that conversations I probably don't even remember at this point. Like I'm excited to see what they have, and we'll be able to go further into detail.
We're going to find out on Netflix, November 22nd.
November 22nd at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time or 8 a.m. GMT time.
What's the official name of the show?
Squid Game: The Challenge.
Squid Game: The Challenge.
Squid Game,
colons.
The Challenge.
The Challenge.
Yes.
So episodes, what is it again? What's the
1 through 5 are coming out on the 22nd.
And then the 29th is
episodes
6 through 9.
6 through 9. And then the last one is
December
number
6th is going to be the finale.
Yes, sir. You shall find out if I won $4.56 million.
That was unintentional, but like
intentional at the same time.
Yes, sir.
So you will find out if I won $4.56 million, if I was one of 456 to win that. Yeah. On that note,
that was perfect timing.
That was perfect timing. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Make sure you watch November 22nd. Let us know down below your thoughts after you watch it. Hopefully this will give you enough time because I know it's Thanksgiving weekend and everyone's busy and Black Friday shopping. So hopefully people get the chance to watch it.
I feel like I would almost rather them all be out and then I could watch all of them.
Just binge them all.
But I'm going to try to watch them as they come out.
Okay.
I'm going to try.
You probably should because then, I mean, I guess you don't
I will. Next week, yeah, I'm going to try. Next week, it'll probably have to be the weekend, but I will.
Okay. I'm so excited. I'm like stupid excited for it. And like the friends that I've made, and we have like a giant group chat with all of us essentially. Everyone's just anxiously waiting and anticipating and waiting for the second that we can even post about it. So
it's a long time in the making. And I kept my mouth shut the whole time.
I kept my mouth shut for the most part.
Yeah, but once you tell certain people, it's like, you're not really supposed to tell.
Domino effect.
Yeah, like that's what happens.
They had said in the beginning to like make sure you like really talk it through with like your closest friends and your family to make sure that like you're okay with this. They like really stressed making sure that you mentally were like okay for it. So I'm really proud of you for keeping the secret.
I'm great at keeping secrets.
Apparently. I've never been on live television, except I've been on television now.
Right, not live.
Not live. Well, roadshow.
Roadshow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been live.
Live.
Okay. Anyway.
We love you guys so much. Shout out Crazy Neon. And I'm saying shout out to them because they're building a sign for me for my engagement party and wedding, which is really kind and sincere of them. And then on top of that, shout out Skylar Batz.
Skylar Batz.
She just got a job. We love you so much.
Yeah, shout out.
I was just gonna say hit the money one.
That's the only one that I know.
Yep. Shout out Skylar Batz. She just got a job. Wish her congratulations.
She-
I feel like I talked so much in this episode that you're gonna have to talk the most on the next one.
Well, it was more of an interview for you, really, because I wasn't on it. And I'm
True.
very like, I know certain things about your experience, but I don't know anything about the show. So hopefully, like, some of the details behind the show. If you haven't seen the show,
This was like the precursor to it.
it's the precursor. So
Love it.
I had to ask the questions.
I love that for me.
And I actually love that for you too.
Thanks. And we'll see you later. Bye.